Right now, with the superintendent stepping down, what's next for Madison schools? We'll ask that question to the school board president as she joins us live in studio this morning.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for watching on this Thursday, May 9th. We all can agree we're running a little hot this morning.
It's a little uncomfortable.
We're just not accustomed to this yet.
Yeah.
But we're not complaining.
No, we're not complaining. It's just...
Well, and don't worry, wait 5 minutes and it's going to be gone.
Exactly.
That's about how things are going to go today. But if you step out the door right now, you may be a little surprised. It feels more like mid-July than May. It's very humid outside.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's the view.
What view?
I know. This is what it looks like when I step outside the studio. There's not a whole lot to see here on the west side of town. We have some fog and low clouds. Visibility at the airport is officially 2 miles, but you can see that the fog is a little thicker on the west side of town. Visibility has been pretty low in the Dells and Camp Douglas. Now we're starting to see some fog through the Wisconsin River Valley as well. So just be aware of that. Oh, going down in Madison, down to 1.75 miles. So watch out for the fog this morning. Most of the rain is already to the east. There are a few showers popping up for southwestern Wisconsin this morning. They'll continue to work their way through the area. Most areas, though, are not going to see a lot of measurable precipitation today. Any chance for showers or drizzle will come to an end as we head towards the afternoon. Temperatures are still quite mild here in Madison, but Janesville gets the award for the warmest start today. 63 degrees right now in Janesville. Road trip, anyone? 57 here in Madison. It drops to 49 in the Dells. We're going in the wrong direction today. We'll drop through the 50s, back into the 40s later on this evening. Here's a look at your first alert traffic maps for southern Wisconsin. No major delays right now, just a few brake lights showing up on Stoughton Road and the Beltline. Otherwise, no accidents to report, which is great news. Just keep in mind, put the headlights on, there is some patchy fog.
Yes.
Yeah, I had the windshield wipers on high this morning, not because of the rain, because I was fogging up.
There's just a lot of moisture in the air right now.
So humid.
Yeah, drier winds, northwest winds will help us out this afternoon.
All right, good news, Hattie. Thank you.
We start this half hour with breaking news into the Channel 3000 Alert Center overnight. Madison police are investigating an armed robbery that happened right outside someone's home. It happened just after 10 along Packers Avenue on the north side of the city. Police say the victim had just gotten home and was walking from his car when he was jumped by 2 men and knocked unconscious. He had to be taken to the hospital. The suspects got away with his backpack and some other personal property. Anyone with information is asked to call Madison Police or the Madison Area Crime Stoppers.
We're learning more this morning about why Madison School Superintendent Jennifer Cheatham is stepping down. Cheatham says her decision to leave had nothing to do with what she previously called a trying year in the district, including multiple reports of sexual assault and behavioral issues with students and staff. Instead, she said it had everything to do with the opportunity to influence the next generation of education leaders. She'll be starting her new job at Harvard School of Education in the fall. An interim superintendent is expected to be named by the end of this month. We'll have more on the board search for a new superintendent and the future of Madison schools in just about 10 minutes when School Board President Mary Burke joins us live in studio.
At the state capitol, Republicans are expected to make some major changes to Governor Evers' state budget proposal later today. The Joint Finance Committee is meeting to go over the budget, starting at 11 this morning. Republicans have promised to cut out many of the governor's spending proposals, including an expansion of Medicaid. Some GOP lawmakers have shown a willingness to compromise on that topic, but Assembly Speaker Robin Vos has been an outspoken critic of the plan. Republicans are also likely to cut out many of Evers' proposed tax increases. The state's nonpartisan Legislative Fiscal Bureau estimates that would leave the budget in a $1.4 billion hole.
Also at the state capitol, several Assembly Republicans are complaining to Governor Tony Evers about his decision to grant temporary raises at several prisons and institutions. An audit released last week shows entry-level guard pay in the state was the second lowest in the Midwest. Days before the audit, Evers' administration gave temporary raises of up to $5 an hour to workers at 6 institutions. 19 Republicans sent a letter to the governor Wednesday saying the raises aren't fair and compensation should be addressed. Through the state budget, the governor's budget calls for spending an additional $23.8 million to create a pay progression system for prison workers.
More local news this morning. The Madison woman who came home to find a spot for a bus stop dug out of her front yard says the city refuses to move it. The city says that spot is the safest since it's right across the street from a sidewalk that feeds into a crosswalk. They also said they had the right to dig it because the city technically owns the front 14 feet of Johnson's yard as part of the public right-of-way. But Johnson says just because it's in the right-of-way doesn't make it right. She said she's frustrated at the lack of communication in the process, but she hasn't given up.
I hope this isn't done. I know that he sounded very final and like it was done, but in my mind it can't be because it's so grossly unfair. This can't be the end.
Now, Johnson won't have to pay for the bus pad, but she said she's worried it will cause the value of her home to go down. This bus pad isn't the first in the city, and it won't be the last. Common Council recently passed a resolution giving Metro 5 years to convert all bus stops to ADA-compliant pads. That means this conversation in Monica's front yard could be coming to a bus stop near you. We reached out to City Engineering and Madison Metro. Both declined to do an interview with us.
All right, 6:06 is your time right now. So there are more than 440,000 Living Badger alumni, Leah and Hattie, just two of them. And this weekend, thousands more are going to be joining those ranks.
So exciting. UW-Madison's graduation ceremonies begin tomorrow night, and the university-wide commencement at Camp Randall is this Saturday. Christina Laurie joins us live from One Alumni Place with what's next for these soon-to-be alums. Good morning, Christina.
Hi, Josh and Leah. I know you both spend plenty of time at the Memorial Union Alumni Park. Those are just west of us, but this morning we're at the beautiful One Alumni Place, which is going to welcome a lot of new soon-to-be alumni this weekend. We're with the Executive Director, Sarah Shute.
Good morning,
Sarah.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing great.
So you boast a lot of famous alumni here at the UW. Aldo Leopold, just one of them. What are some more alumni that people may or may not know about?
Well, we're proud of all of our graduates. There are definitely names that people would recognize. Of course, J.J. Watt, our commencement speaker, and another famous athlete, Russell Wilson. Steve Miller, a famous musician, is getting an honorary degree. And then there's folks like Lorraine Hansberry, who wrote A Raisin in the Sun, or more recently, Virgil Abloh, who is well known in design and business. Astronaut Jim Lovell is another person who people might recognize his name. But like I said, 440,000 alumni around the world. There are many people to be proud of making great contributions.
And like we said, we don't know who yet from the class of 2019 will join those ranks, but they can join the Wisconsin Alumni Association. What are some of the benefits of doing that?
Absolutely, and we really encourage students who are graduating to take advantage of the discount. It's $25 a year for students, or $44 for 2 years. And when you join the Alumni Association, you have access to programs, events, services, retail discounts. Students or recent grads can also order branded business cards and get address labels. But most important, it helps people stay connected to the Badger community around the state, around the world. No matter where you go, you're going to find other Badgers.
That networking is so important, and we're going to talk more about that coming up. We're going to keep Sarah here with us, and we'll touch base with you again at 6:30. But in the meantime, you can head to our website, channel3000.com. If any parents want to see some of the benefits of signing maybe their soon-to-be graduate up for the Alumni Association, you can do that on channel3000.com.
Oh, this interview is bringing back the memories. Enjoy every minute of it for those grads. All right, Christina Laurie reporting live for us. Thank you, Christina.
All right, 8 minutes past 6 o'clock on a Thursday morning, and it is pretty warm and muggy to start off this morning. But Hattie says temperatures are actually going to be dropping through the day. She'll have more on that and tell us just when that sunshine is going to return for southern Wisconsin in her forecast.
It's coming back, folks. Plus, we're sitting down with the president of the Madison School Board to talk about what they'll be looking for in their search for a new superintendent. That's next on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. Still a pretty heavy drizzle coming down here on the west side of town, in addition to the fog. It's very foggy on the western side of Dane County this morning. Take a look at our temperature trend yesterday. As expected, temperatures climbed slowly through the day, even into the evening and nighttime hours. We topped at 57 just before midnight last night, and then actually reached a high of 59 early this morning. Now temperatures are going to go in the wrong direction today. We're going to fall through the day. Here's a look at our 24-hour precipitation estimates. Generally a half to 1.5 inches of rain across southern Wisconsin. Some of the higher totals coming out of southeastern Wisconsin, as well as just north of Madison through Columbia County. There was some pretty heavy rain yesterday. Take a look at what's happening on the radar map this morning. Most of the rain is already out over Lake Michigan, so we are going to dry out today. There have been a few showers lingering back to the west as this storm system works its way through the area. The chance for rain continues this morning, but we dry out for the afternoon. Take a look at what's happening to the west, and really nothing. Things are really starting to dry out across Minnesota, and with colder air in place to the north, we are still seeing some snow showing up on the radar map this morning. Here's a live look from the Edgewater Sky Cam. Just a lot of low-level cloudiness here in Madison. It's a very gray picture. Visibility is down to a mile at the airport. It's about 1.25 miles in the Dells. Just 1/8 of a mile visibility, though, in Camp Douglas. We have temperatures that are dropping already across most of southern Wisconsin. 58 here in Madison. Still 60s to the south, but it does drop into the 40s to the north. Our dew points are high, and you'll notice that as you step out the door this morning. It feels a little bit more like July outside, with dew points in the 50s and 60s, even in some spots. So relative humidity is very high. But watch what happens with our winds today. As this system passes to our east, our winds will shift to the west and eventually northwest later on this afternoon. So while you don't need a jacket this morning, you might want to take one with you because it's going to feel quite different later on today with that northwesterly wind and temperatures dropping into the 40s. Here's a look at your future track forecast model. It's a little optimistic, would you say, or maybe not so optimistic on the rain chances this morning. I don't think we're going to see that much rain across southern Wisconsin, just a few showers. Otherwise, mostly cloudy today with temperatures falling back into the 40s this evening. So take note if you have sports events later on this evening, it's definitely going to be much cooler. As you wake tomorrow morning, you'll be in the upper 30s. We'll climb to a high of 58 with some sunshine developing through the day. And Saturday looks to be the best day of the weekend with partly sunny skies and a high of 62. Rain chances return Saturday night into Sunday. Let's get a look at those traffic maps this morning, see if the fog is slowing anyone down. Jason Stone has all the details. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. No major incidents to report at this time. Drivers are making their way to the Beltline and moving at the posted speed limit. Be ready for longer lines at Verona Road and Highway PD in all directions this morning. All other routes into Madison and around Dane County are clear for travel, and traffic downtown is light around the Capitol Square. With your First Alert Traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
All right, Jason, thank you so much. And Hattie, thank you. 6:15 this morning. So with Superintendent Jennifer Cheatham deciding to step down, the Madison School Board will be looking for a new superintendent for the first time in 6 years.
Board President Mary Burke is joining us this morning to talk about that process and what's next for Madison schools. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
So we were talking earlier. You are the only board member left who was here before Jen Cheatham's time. What was your reaction to the news?
I was surprised. I thought she would be with us for a longer amount of time, but superintendents in large districts like Madison typically have a fairly short tenure, a little over 3 years. So Jen has really been with us much longer than typical in superintendents.
And you were talking about how, you had to really be here before Jen Cheatham's time to understand the progress that's been made in the meantime, right?
She has really laid a strong foundation, built a really, really good team. We have seen increases in reading scores and math scores. So from elementary school to increases in graduation rates at high school, we've made a lot of progress. We still have a long way to go, but building that strong foundation, planting those seeds is so important.
So now this process obviously already underway for you guys. You guys are diving right in kind of on that next hunt.
Yes. Well, first of all, I do want to take this time. This is Teacher Appreciation Week, and I want to just thank all the teachers out there. You do an amazing job, and I could never walk in your shoes, and what you do with our kids every single day is what is most important. When we talk about making progress and seeing every student thrive in our schools, it's really our teachers who do that. So thank you.
So talk a little bit about the process. You know, you're obviously underway with that search already. It is May, so you're kind of looking ahead to the next school year already.
What's most important is we hire a really great leader. That first and foremost, that at the end of the day, we want to undertake whatever process is needed to hire the next great leader. It's the most important decision that a school board can make. So that process has started when the superintendent let the board know on Monday night that she was resigning. We will be appointing an interim superintendent, and then we will be able to take as much time as we need to make sure we hire that next great leader, full-time superintendent for the school district.
Now, Jen Cheatham's departure comes after what has been a trying year for the district. Of course, Jen has said that did not play into her decision to leave. How will these events that have happened this year affect your decision for the next leader?
We're going to focus on our priorities, and we have laid out the latest strategic framework just in the last year, which sets that vision for where we want to go to. That means every child graduates community, college, and career ready. It means every single one of our schools is a safe and thriving place for every student. It means we are investing in our people. So when we look for a new superintendent, we want a superintendent that aligns with our priorities, that can continue this work forward.
Obviously, yeah, this is it's a process, right? It's not something that can just be overnight.
Yeah. Well, I was on the board when we undertook the search to hire Jen, so I have a lot of experience in doing that. The board is really, I think, plays an important role. Each person on the board brings a different perspective, an important perspective on what we're going to be looking for in that leader. So I have full confidence that the board is in a great position. The district is in a really good position to go out and hire the next great leader for Madison.
All right, Madison School Board President Mary Burke joining us in studio. We thank you so much for waking up with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Good to see you. All right, 6:19 your time now. Most of us haven't liked the wet weather we've seen over the past couple of weeks. It's been even tougher, though, for farmers. We're talking about some of their concerns about climate change and how it affects the prices you're paying for produce coming up.
And speaking of that weather, some good news for farmers and really any of us that's tired of all this rain. Sun is on the way after today, and Hattie will have those details and when those scattered showers will move out of here. That's when News 3 Now This Morning continues.
Welcome back, folks. Forget the news for the rest of the morning. We're going to spend the day watching the polar bear camp. They're having so much fun.
Having a ton of fun in the pool this morning. Just missed it before we came out on camera. The guy just took a nosedive into the pool, so very cute this morning. We do have some fog to talk about, though, this morning as you head out the door. Keep in mind, visibility is reduced in a few spots. Let's take a look at what we have weather-wise this morning. Visibility is down to a mile here in Madison, less than a mile in the Dells, as well as Camp Douglas. So some patchy dense fog has developed just within the last couple of hours. It's very wet outside, not necessarily rain, but drizzle, especially here in Madison, drizzle and fog. Some light showers still to the south and west. They'll continue to rotate through the area, so can't rule out some raindrops through the morning hours. Otherwise, temperatures going in the wrong directions. As you step out today, 58 right now in Madison, 63 in Janesville. It does drop to 49 in the Dells, and that's where we're headed later on today. So your bus stop weather forecast. The kiddos don't need a jacket this morning, but by later on this afternoon, temperatures will be falling to the 50s, and there will be a northwest wind to go along with that as well. Have a wonderful Thursday.
We'll do just that. 6:24 this morning. So after an unusually wet season last year, many farmers aren't feeling as confident going into this growing season.
Steve Pincus of TP Produce down in Evansville has been farming for 43 years, but he says last year was one of the wettest ones he's seen. He says climate change has destroyed about a quarter of his produce, meaning at the end of the year, his earnings were essentially zero.
I think every farmer wants average weather. We take enough risks that we want the weather to be on our side, and we're always working around that average. And if that average is changing quickly, then we're going to have trouble.
Willie Street Co-op says some of their local producers saw up to 75% losses last year, so they didn't have much to put on sale, which in turn raised prices of local vegetables. Our Amanda Quintana will be sharing that full story. That's happening tonight on News 3 Now at 10. And this is something that our farm babe Pam Yaki is constantly talking about, just how farmers have to deal with the whims of the weather every single day.
Well, now this year, obviously, we've had all this rain and this has been impacting everybody, but I feel like it impacts them more than anything because they can't even get in the fields. I think yesterday she was telling Mark and Susan on Live at 4, there's only like 7% of corn that is in the fields. It's May 9th and only 7%. I mean, it's just mind-boggling.
And this comes, of course, after last year's historic flooding where farmers were dealing with poor crops then. So it's just year after year.
Yeah, hopefully that sun in the forecast here in the next week or so is going to help them dry out because it's needed. All right, 6:25 is your time right now. So the Pope is making a groundbreaking change to the way sexual abuse is being reported in the Catholic Church.
We'll have more on that. Plus, a City of Madison employee is being told he can't wear his Make America Great Again hat. We'll tell you why he thinks he's being singled out. More local news is ahead on News 3 Now this morning.
Right now, a city employee says he isn't being allowed to wear his Make America Great Again hat, why he thinks there's a double standard and what the city is saying about it.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for staying with us on this Thursday, May 9th. Kind of a warm one out there that we're not used to.
Yeah, in case you're wondering where summer is, we're getting a sneak peek of it this morning. It's not sticking around, though. You know Wisconsin, Hattie, wait 5 minutes, right?
That's true. The old saying will be true today especially, but I think tropical is a great way to describe how it feels outside this morning. It's very muggy. The birds are very active and loud in the background, so I feel kind of like I'm in a tropical rainforest. Now, things are going to change today, and they'll change as we head into the afternoon. A live look from our Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. A lot of clouds there, but not a lot of fog in Platteville. We've been dealing with on and off fog here in Madison. Has lifted a little bit at the station, so visibility is improving here, but it's down to just a mile at the airport. 3/4 mile visibility in the Dells, just 1/8 of a mile in Camp Douglas. That's one of the lower visibilities that we have this morning. So be aware of that patchy fog early today. You may see some raindrops as well. Some showers possible as we head through the morning hours, but we will dry out for this afternoon. Temperatures are going to be falling today. We've already hit our high. That was 59 here in Madison. We're at 58 now. We'll be dropping into the 40s later on this afternoon. As you head out the door, you don't really need to wear a jacket this morning, but you might want to bring it along because with a northwesterly wind later today, it's definitely going to feel quite a bit cooler. Here's a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. No major delays on any of the area roads or in the downtown regions. Taking a look, a little slower on Verona Road as you approach the Beltline. Otherwise, no accidents to report.
Yeah, you might need the windshield wipers for both the fog, that humidity, and the bugs out there, Hattie.
That's true. That is a new development over the last 24 hours.
Mugs and bugs.
Mugs and bugs. All right. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
All right, 6:31 right now. Breaking into the Channel 3000 Alert Center in just the last hour, the Pope has issued a groundbreaking law ordering all Catholic priests and nuns to report sexual abuse and cover-ups by their superiors to church authorities. The new law provides whistleblower protections for anyone making a report, requiring all dioceses around the world to have a system in place to receive the claims confidentially.
President Trump's oldest son is being subpoenaed to testify yet again in front of the Senate Intelligence Committee. That committee has wanted to hear from Donald Trump Jr. for weeks now as they continue to look into Russian interference in U.S. elections. His lawyers have fought against that, partially because at the time they didn't know what was in the Mueller report. Now that the report is out, Trump Jr. is being called to testify for this second time. He originally appeared in front of that committee back in 2017. Trump Jr. is reportedly considering invoking his Fifth Amendment rights or just ignoring that subpoena altogether.
More local news. A City of Madison employee says he feels singled out by being asked not to wear his Make America Great Again hat to work. Felix Caraballo has worked for the city for the past 20 years, and for the past couple of months, he's been wearing his MAGA hat. He says it's become an issue only recently, while other people in his department can wear Medicaid for all pins without a problem. The assistant city attorney says there is a code of ethics they base these rules off of. Employees are allowed to wear the pins because they support a policy, not a presidential candidate. But Caraballo says he isn't necessarily rooting for President Trump by wearing the hat.
By wearing this hat, you're not trying to endorse any candidate. You're just supporting the concept that's on your.
I support the United States of America. Donald Trump is the president of the United States. When Obama was the president, I support Obama because it's the president from the United States. I don't care who the president is. I'm always going to be that way. I'm going to support, and I wanted the president to do the best for the country.
The assistant city attorney says had President Trump not announced his candidacy for the 2020 election, the hat could be worn at work.
Wisconsin lawmakers are proposing a change to state statutes that would allow workers to keep their cash tips tax-free. That proposal would allow workers to keep their cash tips unreported on their state income taxes. However, they would still have to report that amount on federal returns. Supporters say that means not just more cash in their pockets, but also possible boosts for employers when it comes to recruiting more workers. If it's passed, Wisconsin would be the first state in the country with a state tax exemption for tips.
So the weather might not be perfect, but tonight marks the return of Madison's night market to downtown. The event includes a host of vendors from arts and crafts, pop-up restaurants, drinks, and live music. It is the third year Madison has put on its night markets. They run once a month during the warmer months through September. Gilman Street will be shut down for folks to come out, enjoy music, and browse vendors starting at 6 p.m. and running until 10. All right, 6:34 right now. So the clock is ticking for the class of 2019's time at UW-Madison. After 4 years, their time as Badger students is coming to an end.
Bittersweet. Graduation ceremonies begin tomorrow night, and the university-wide commencement at Camp Randall is this Saturday. Our Christina Laurie is live from One Alumni Place with what's next for our soon-to-be alums. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Josh and Leah. There's a lot of history, both old and new, here at One Alumni Place. You might remember the Buckies on Parade. I flipped this book, found Graduation Bucky, because I know a lot of students will be getting ready to flip their tassels, throw their caps this weekend. They'll join a network of more than 440,000 living Badger alumni. We're with the executive director of the Alumni Association, Sarah Shute. She's back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
So it can be a tough time, a little bit emotional. Students don't want to leave Madison, but they don't really have to leave. What are some of the benefits? What can they do to stay connected with the university?
Well, you're absolutely right. The Alumni Association exists for Badgers everywhere in order to stay informed about the university, stay connected with the university, and connected with the community of Badgers that are everywhere. These newly graduating students, as well as any alumni, can stay connected in their local chapter. We have more than 100 chapters all over the country. They can join our Badger Bridge networking, career and professional networking at badgerbridge.com. They can get a uwalumni.com email address so we can stay in touch with them and tell them what's going on, and they can join the Alumni Association.
And that's free, and membership isn't too expensive.
Correct. For graduating students, it's $25, $44 for 2 years. And for all alumni or anybody who wants to join the Alumni Association, it's $55 a year.
So if anyone wants more information on how to join the Alumni Association, I have links on how to do all of that on our website, channel3000.com. And there's also great networking opportunities. There's free resources. So Leah and Josh, anyone can take advantage of.
So, Christina, the real question is, are Hattie and I in any of those alumni books?
You know, I have to do some digging. I'll let you know at 6:55.
Take a peek, report back. Christina Laurie reporting live for us. Thank you, Christina.
I hope there's something really embarrassing there, too.
Ooh, yeah, I shouldn't have asked.
All right, 6:36 right now. So like a lot of Bucks fans, Leah's been chanting Bucks in 6 during their series against the Boston Celtics. Well, turns out they didn't need 6 games.
It's probably a sign I didn't know what that means. Milwaukee is on to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2001 after winning Game 5 against the Celtics. We'll have a post-game report from our very own Kevin Lewis. That's when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
Welcome back at 6:40. We've been asking you to share your morning with us, and Linda Watson posted this on Facebook after she spotted some egrets.
So the only time I've ever seen egrets is on a little bit of a kayak trip, but of course I can never get close enough to get a gorgeous shot like this, Linda.
That is incredible. I can't believe how close that is. I mean, you can see their eyes and everything.
I've never seen those eyes be so green before.
Oh, beautiful.
Thanks so much for sharing, Linda. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it on Facebook or on Twitter, and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning so Josh and I can find and share our favorites right here on the program.
The Milwaukee Bucks are moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals.
So exciting. They cruised to 116-91 win over the Boston Celtics last night at the Fiserv Forum, taking the series in 5 games. Our Kevin Lewis has reaction from Milwaukee.
The Bucks played what they preached from start to finish. It was defense. The Deer gave up 19, 20, and 23 points in each of the first 3 quarters. They allowed the Celtics just 31% shooting from the floor, 18% from three-point range.
We talk about defense, every day, every film session, and I just think that the way we guarded, the way we covered for each other, the commitment that was on the defensive end just sets the tone for us. And now we got to take a couple days and start getting ready for whoever it is that's next, and keep the same focus, keep the same hunger.
It's amazing. It was a team effort. I think we came out, we did not mess around with the game. We did our job, we defended, we moved the ball. That's why we were able to close the game.
Well, the president, Malcolm Brogdon, played in his first game since March 15th and chipped in a big way. Considering the fact that he only played 17 minutes, Brogdon had 10 points and 4 assists. The Bucks advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 18 years. They're waiting on Toronto and Philly, who play Game 6 tonight in Philly. Toronto has a chance to close that out. They have a 3-2 lead. At the Fiserv Forum, I'm Kevin Lewis. News 3 Now this morning.
So if you were at the game last night, the Bucks president issued a warning. This is not really a warning, but you get a get out of work for free card today.
So can I use it after I've come in? Pass it off to our boss, leave a little early?
I feel like it's too late for that. You're already here. I'm not going to let you leave.
Tomorrow.
There you go. I don't know if that works that way. All right, well, 6:42 is your time right now. So we had to double check the calendar this morning. It's so muggy, it feels more like July or August out there this morning. Hattie says that might mean you have to deal with some fog on your way to work or school. Her full first floor forecast is up next.
But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV. Thanks for watching News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. If you think we've been dealing with a lot of moisture around here, check out other parts of the country. Here's just the 48-hour precipitation estimates. Houston, the radar estimates over 11 inches of rain just in the last 2 days. And you can see these purples and orange shaded colors through parts of Arkansas, eastern Texas, into Kansas and Oklahoma. That's some very heavy rain over just the last 2 days. Now, we've had our fair share of precipitation, but definitely not that much here in southern Wisconsin. The severe weather outlook for today is going to shift a little bit further to the east, but it does still include parts of Texas. So unfortunately, no rest for the weary. There still is more rain in the forecast for the southern tier of the United States. On the radar map, snow to the north, thunderstorms to the south. In between here in southern Wisconsin, we have just some drizzle and a few light showers lingering. Nothing that's going to slow you down right now, and we're not looking at any major flight delays at the airports around the country. Here's your travel weather forecast, though. Note the cooler temperatures moving in through the mountainous regions. 42 in Denver for the high today. Contrast that with 76 in Memphis, 84 in Atlanta. It is going to be stormy from Cleveland all the way down to Dallas today. Here in the upper Midwest, it is definitely going to turn a little cooler. Our high today, 59 degrees. We've already hit that. We will drop through the day. Our chances for rain confined mainly to the morning. But take a look at this temperature contrast. 64 in Springfield, 59 in Chicago, only 38 in Des Moines, and pretty close to the freezing point this morning in Minneapolis with 35 degrees. Dew points are high, though, to the south. We're seeing dew points in the 50s and 60s. This is summertime moisture, and it feels like it outside this morning. Our winds, though, will shift to the northwest today, and that will act to cool us down. Take a look at our temperatures spread just across southern Wisconsin. 63 in Janesville, 58 here in Madison. It drops to 49 in the Dells and even 46 in Camp Douglas this morning. So quite a temperature contrast. We do have a southwesterly wind this morning. As we go through time, though, drier air working its way in on a northwesterly wind today. That will cool us down and dry things out. It'll take care of any fog and drizzle as well. Future track has quite a bit of rain this morning. We're not seeing this much, but a few showers moving through the area. They'll actually pass through pretty quickly. Then just cloudy skies for the remainder of the day. Note that temperatures go in the wrong direction today. We're dropping back into the 40s this evening. Overnight tonight, we'll bottom out in the 30s. Here's a look at your extended forecast. Finally, some sunshine on Friday with a high of 58. Saturday will be the best day of the weekend with a high of 62. Rain chances then return Saturday night into Sunday. A little bit cooler on Mother's Day. Here's a look at Belle in, wow, that was great, you guys. I didn't even cue you on that.
We're dog people.
Belle in Beloit taking up the whole chair. It will be a little cooler this afternoon, but not as wet.
Yeah, I think the camping chair is going to stay inside today, Belle.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Belle just wants some sunshine.
She does. It's coming.
We all do.
It's coming, Belle. Hang in there. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Stay with us. The Morning Sprint is straight ahead on News 3 Now this morning. 6:52 right now. Time for the morning sprint as our team gets you up to speed on everything you need to know before you head out the door this morning.
We start this morning in Madison. That's where the school board will now start their work in finding a replacement for Superintendent Jennifer Cheatham, who announced her resignation yesterday. Board President Mary Burke told us this morning that process is already starting as they look for an interim replacement. Cheatham says she plans to stay on into August to help with that transition progress. An interim superintendent is expected to be named before the end of the month.
Republicans are expected to make some major changes to Governor Tony Evers' state budget proposal later today. The Joint Finance Committee is meeting to go over the state budget starting at 11 this morning. Republicans have promised to cut out many of the governor's spending proposals, including an expansion of Medicaid and tax increases. The state's nonpartisan Legislative Fiscal Bureau estimates that would leave the budget in a $1.4 billion hole.
Wisconsin lawmakers are proposing a change to state laws that would allow workers to keep their cash tips tax-free. Workers would still have to report those tips on their federal taxes, but would not have to report them on their state tax forms. Supporters say that means not just more cash in those workers' pockets, but also a possible boost for employers when it comes to recruiting more employees. If it's passed, Wisconsin would be the first state in the country with a tax exemption for tips.
And as you head out the door this morning, you'll have to deal with some fog. This is the view from the Edgewater Skycam. No chance seeing the Capitol right now. We have visibility that's about a mile here in Madison, but down to a quarter of a mile in the Dells, eighth of a mile in Camp Douglas. Temperatures are quite mild with a few showers moving through the area this morning. Will dry out this afternoon. Wind shift to the northwest. Temperatures go in the wrong direction, dropping to 50 degrees by 6 p.m.
Hattie, thank you. South Korea's military says North Korea has fired 2 short-range missiles overnight. It's the second launch in the last 5 days. This comes as North Korea and the U.S. are stalled in their efforts to denuclearize the North Korean peninsula. North Korea has said Saturday's missiles were military exercises.
Also breaking overnight, the Pope has issued a groundbreaking law ordering all Catholic priests and nuns to report sexual abuse and cover-ups by their superiors. This new law provides whistleblower protections for anyone who is making a report. It also requires dioceses around the world to have a confidential reporting system in place.
President Trump's oldest son is being subpoenaed to testify again in front of the Senate Intelligence Committee. This is for a second time now. Donald Trump Jr. first testified for the Senate committee in 2017. They're continuing to look into Russian interference in U.S. elections, even after the release of the Mueller report. Trump Jr. is reportedly considering invoking his Fifth Amendment rights or just ignoring the subpoena altogether.
For just the second time in history, lawmakers are voting to find an attorney general in contempt of Congress. The House Judiciary Committee voted to hold William Barr in contempt yesterday. Meanwhile, President Trump invoked executive privilege to prevent Barr from releasing the unredacted version of the Mueller report that Congress had been asking for. If the contempt resolution passes the full House, Barr could theoretically face fines or even jail time, but that would require his own department to pursue criminal charges.
Into the Channel3000.com alert center overnight, Madison police are looking for 2 suspects they say jumped and robbed a man after he got out of his car while returning home. It happened on Packers Avenue on the north side just after 10. Police say the 23-year-old victim was pistol whipped and knocked unconscious before the 2 suspects got away with his backpack and personal items. Anyone with information is asked to call police.
Tonight marks the return of Madison's night market to downtown. The event includes a host of vendors from arts and crafts, pop-up restaurants, drinks, and live music. It's the 3rd year Madison has put on its night markets. They run once a month through September. Gilman Street will be shut down for folks to come out to enjoy some music and browse vendors starting at 6 p.m. and running until 10.
It's graduation weekend here in Madison, and the class of 2019 will join a large network of more than 440,000 Badger alumni. Now, Hattie, I found your class of 2000 yearbook, although we didn't find your picture inside. That's only one of the things you'll see here at the Wisconsin Alumni Association. They also offer job and networking resources to help students kick off their careers. We have links to the various mentorship programs available on our website, channel3000.com. And the graduation festivities kick off tomorrow. The campus-wide commencement is at Camp Randall Saturday at noon.
6:56 right now. Let's turn it over to Jason Stone with a look at your first alert traffic. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. Drivers are making their way to the Beltline with only minor delays at interchanges, but are moving at the posted speed limit once on the highway. and only minor delays on John Nolan at North Shore Drive in both directions. With your first alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Jason, thank you.
And the look outside, we're not able to see a whole lot right now from our Skycam shots. Low clouds and fog in the area, as well as a few showers moving through this morning. Temperatures will start close to 60 early today, but we're dropping through the day through the 50s, back into the 40s by later on this evening. So if you have plans, sports plans, games, whatever, practice, just keep in mind that it's going to feel quite a bit different later today.
Yes, grab the umbrella, grab the jacket, and hang in there because sun is on the way.
We're almost there.
Almost there. All right, folks, thanks so much for joining us for News 3 Now this morning. Have a great Thursday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.